Are you a financial professional or an individual investor? Would you like more success in the stock market? Did you know that market risk is the single biggest risk most investors face? And yet most people don't have a reliable, repeatable way of determining market risk. Traditional technical analysis helps, but it falls short. Market risk is non-diversifiable risk. Let me repeat that. Market risk is non-diversifiable risk. Market risk cannot be diversified away. You need a market-based system that is reliable, repeatable, and free of personal bias to help you understand what mode, market risk level, the market is operating in at all times. Once you understand what mode the market is in, you can then position your investments correctly to match the market. From here forward, staying in sync with the stock market will be one of the major keys to successful investing. I spent over 20 years developing a proprietary system that helps me understand what mode the market is operating in. I call my proprietary system Simple Market Signals. I developed Simple Market Signals for myself. I am now making my proprietary model signals available to you. The potential benefits, if used properly, include increased upside capture, decreased downside capture, improved risk-return profile, and the ability to sidestep major market downturns. Simple Market Signals is stock market-based, rules-based, and based on our proprietary multi-factor model. Simple Market Signals does not include opinions, hunches, guesswork, or conspiracy theory. We stick to market-based facts. Who is Simple Market Signals for? It's for equity investors. Simple Market Signals is perfect for individual investors, whether you're novice or experienced, as well as financial industry professionals, including financial advisors, money managers. You run an RIA perhaps, you're a hedge fund manager, or any other financial industry professional. Simple Market Signals is right for you. And it's right for anybody that wants to employ both offense and defense with respect to their investments, and it's for anybody that wants an edge, wants an advantage when it comes to their investing and trading. Simple Market Signals works with any type of equity account, including 401ks, 403bs, IRAs, or any other equity-based retirement plan like a SEP, a Simple, or whatever you may have at work. And Simple Market Signals is, of course, perfect for non-retirement accounts like a margin account or a trading account, or however you refer to your non-qualified, your taxable trading account. Simple Market Signals works with any type of investment vehicle, including mutual funds, ETFs, stocks, or options. Who is this available to? Any adult who has access to YouTube around the world. Who is this not for? It's not for those who don't invest in equities, right? This is an equity-based system. So if you only invest in crypto or commodities like gold, silver, copper, oil, corn, soybeans, or you only invest in art, automobiles, collectibles, diamonds, Simple Market Signals is just not going to help you unless you're an equity investor. There's two major components to the Simple Market Signals proprietary model. There's the risk mode, the market risk level signal, and then there's the general trend indicator. Let's start off with the Simple Market Signals risk signals. The Simple Market Signals risk signals, the market mode signals, are simply green, yellow, or red. When the signal is green, this is when you're going to have your easiest, lowest risk profits, and this is when the market is generally in an upward market mode. When the signal is yellow, this is when we have a soft market, and the market is generally sideways to slightly up or down in a yellow signal environment. However, the yellow signal can also be that transition signal between a green and red signal if the market is really starting to sell off. And what you're going to find is when the market mode or risk signal, right, you can refer to it either way, but when the market mode signal is red, the worst losses, including bear markets, are going to happen in a red signal environment. So when the signal is red, the market is generally in a downward mode. Next, let's take a look at the general trend indicator. The general trend indicator measures the trend of the stock market based on our proprietary formula. The signal is either positive or negative. When it's positive, we're in a upward general stock market trend. When the signal is negative, we're in a downward general stock market trend. And to give you a little backstory on the general trend indicator, there's over 7 years of research behind the general trend indicator. And this is real world testing and research. I tested numerous time frames to figure out the optimal time frame because I wanted something that stayed positive during the bulk of most uptrends, but was negative during the bulk of most downtrends. So it took me 7 years of real world tweaking, testing, and research to determine the optimal time frame for the general trend indicator. Now let's put it all together. Now what we're looking at are the signal combinations. So the first one, the green, remember the risk signals, the market mode signals are green, yellow, and red. So the green signal is what's on the left, and then what is just behind the slash, right, the forward slash, is the general trend indicator signal. So when the signal combination is green positive, what that means is we're looking at a green market mode, green risk signal, and then the positive is the general trend indicator. So green positive, that is by far the best signal combination within the model. And what you'll find is that over time, most all of your profits in the stock market will come under a green positive signal combination. The next best, right, the second best signal combination within the model is yellow positive. Again, that's a yellow risk or market mode signal with a positive general trend indicator. Now, under the yellow risk signal, we can also have a negative general trend indicator. So when the combination is yellow negative, that is a more serious yellow signal. And then the worst signal combination is red negative. So we have a red risk signal with a negative general trend indicator, and that is the worst signal combination. Now, there is one other signal combination. It is rare, right, the red positive, but when the market has sold off, like in a bear market, and is starting to rally, starting to, or at least trying to recover, we can get a red positive signal combination, but this is only seen after a major sell-off when the market is trying to rally or recover. Now let's take a quick look at a few market mode risk signal charts for the last few years. We're going to start off with 2018, and you can see here what I was talking about, that most of your upward progress in the stock market will be made in a green risk signal environment. The yellow signal is kind of a sideways to slightly up or down signal, as you see here. And then the red signal, right, this is just 2018. We'll look at a few more here in a second, but you can see the red signal here that we had in the latter part of 2018. And then moving on into 2019, we came into the year with a red signal, and then it went green, and you can see the progress that we make here. Yellow, correction, green, yellow, green, yellow, green. So you can see that most of the yellow signals go back into a green. The yellow is kind of a short pullback in a lot of cases, but as we saw here in 2018, and what you'll see also in 2020, is the yellow signal can be that transition signal between a green signal and then a red signal, as we see here with the COVID sell-off in February, March of 2020. And again, you know, as we see here, right, most of the upward progress in the stock market is going to be made in a green signal environment. So think about this, guys. As long as the signal is green, you can see there's just not a lot to worry about, right? And even most of these yellow signals, this is when we get that pullback, but it gives you confidence in knowing what the market is doing. Now let's take a look at a few charts for the general trend indicator. And just like with the risk signal, we're going to start off with 2018. You can see we came into the year with a positive signal, had kind of a chop here where we went back and forth between positive and negative for a little while in February and March. We had an outright negative signal and then went back into a positive. But you can see here, right, this sell-off that we had in Q4 of 2018, we've already looked at the fact that that risk signal went red, and you can see here that we would have had a negative general trend indicator signal as well. So as I've already shown you, when you get that red negative combination, that is by far the worst signal combination in the model, and most of the losses in the stock market, most of the big losses that you'll experience will come in that combination, right, red negative. And then you can see here when the signal is positive, this is when you get the most upward progress in the stock market. And this takes us into 2020. Of course, we had the negative signal right here during the COVID sell-off in February, March of 2020. And this takes us again to the end of August, beginning of September of 2021. And you can see here positive, very short negative signal. and then a nice long positive signal. And again, just like with the risk signal, I'm stopping the data at the end of August. And if you want the most current information, please become a subscriber. Now let's go back and take a look at how simple market signals could have helped you in the bear market that started in 2000, that ended in 03. And then next we'll take a look at the bear market that started in 2007, that ended in 09. So in 2000, you can see that the risk signal, the market mode signal, would have turned red right here at approximately 1450 on the S&P 500. In this risk signal, the market mode signal would have been red through the majority of this downturn, and then turned green right here just under 900 on the S&P 500. So think about that. Any of you that lived through this, any of you that were invested in the stock market during this period of time, as I was, right? I was working for Oppenheimer Funds, the mutual fund company, during this time. But you can see here, guys, this huge drawdown, right? This hurts, and it lasted for several years, and it just felt like every time we were starting to pull out of this, something would happen that would send us lower, all right? And these types of downturns, these prolonged downturns that last years, they are brutal. But think about how much knowledge you'll have when the risk signal is red whenever we get to the next bear market, right? Whether it lasts a few months or a few years, when you know that that risk signal is red, you know what to expect, right? Losses are much more likely than gains, and so you can take the proper measures to protect yourself, and you'll have realistic expectations as to what is probably going to happen. But then when that risk signal turns green, you know that the likelihood of you making money has substantially increased, okay? Now let's take a look at the bear market from 07 that ended in 09, and you can see here that the risk signal would have turned red right here, right around 1500 on the S&P 500, and you can see that the risk signal would have been red for the majority of the downturn. We did have one short green signal right here that lasted 1 week, and then the market rolled back over, and so maybe you would have had a small loss here, okay? But that's just the way any type of protective system works, guys. But think about this. Again, you could have got out, or went to cash or done whatever you wanted to do right around 1500 to protect your portfolio, and you would have had a green signal that would have came out around 875 on the S&P 500 right here in 2009. So 2 of these types of downturns in the course of a decade, and simple market signals could have helped you really protect yourself and really understand what was going on in the market and set realistic expectations for you in both cases. And when the risk signal turns green, as it did right here, you will know that the likelihood of you making money in equities has substantially increased. Why is simple market signals so important? Because market risk is the single biggest risk most investors face. And market risk is non-diversifiable risk. Market risk cannot be diversified away. And future investing success will require getting in sync and staying in sync with the stock market by using stock market-driven data. Simple Market Signals is built around a multi-factor stock market-based model. I'm going to repeat that. Simple Market Signals is built around, based on, a multi-factor stock market-based model. Simple Market Signals identifies the current level of market risk, giving you the opportunity to stay in sync with the stock market. Now let me share with you what subscribers are saying about Simple Market Signals. First, we are going to hear from KT from Michigan. I have been trading for many years. I did not realize that I have been trading in a completely blind fashion. SMS has given me the direction, literally, I've been desperately needing. This service allows you to clearly see what the market is doing. If you are remotely serious about trading or investing, you must try this service. Again, that's from KT from Michigan. KT, thank you. I appreciate that feedback. Next, we're going to hear from Rich A. from Ohio. Hi, Rodney. I want to thank you for creating Simple Market Signals and making it available to the average investor like myself. I work hard for the money that I invest, and I want to try to get the best return for my investment. Like a lot of people, though, I just don't have the time to watch the markets closely, and I've been blindsided a few times in the past by market moves I didn't see coming. Needless to say, if I could have avoided those downturns, I would be much further ahead financially. This is where Simple Market Signals comes in. It takes complex market data and distills it down into an easy-to-use tool that anyone can use to see where the markets have been and are likely to go. It is sort of like a barometer that a weather forecaster uses, only easier to use. I like the fact that I get weekly updates from Simple Market Signals and also get updates anytime there are important changes in the markets. Your emails are succinct and to the point, and the signals are easy to understand. Depending on how much time I have, I can quickly scan the main points that Simple Market Signals gives me or do a deeper dive and read about the various market sectors and their performance outlook. Either way, I get the timely and important information I need. Thank you again for doing this and keep up the good work. Again, that's from Rich A. from Ohio. Rich, thank you so much for the feedback. I really appreciate that. Next, we're going to hear from SC from Florida. And SC writes, I manage my own money and I am not a professional, which could lead to a disastrous outcome as it has for many. Simple Market Signals is the equivalent of having a personal money manager that keeps you invested when it counts and alerts you to the potential dangers ahead. Now, I want to point out here, guys, I used to be a money manager. I sold my practice in 2016. So these are the exact words that SC from Florida wrote to me. So I just printed it as is. But I want you to understand, I cannot give advice. But this is the feedback that SC from Florida gave me, so I appreciate this. So again, SC writes that Simple Market Signals helps you stay invested when it counts and alerts you to the potential dangers ahead. The service is extremely affordable and takes the uncertainty and fear out of being in control of your own investments. I have done very well using this system and consider myself lucky that Rodney's YouTube channel came into view one day. I highly recommend this to anyone who desires an easy system to produce positive returns in the markets. Again, that's from SC from Florida, sent from his iPad. And guys, I want to point out the reason I'm using just the first and last initials is for the security of my subscribers, okay? I have hedge fund managers, very well-off, multi-millionaire clients. I have, people that are high up in various areas of the government. I have people from all walks of life. So just out of respect and security for my clients, this is the way that I'm presenting the information, just with their first and last initials as well as their state. Next, we're going to hear from FS from Massachusetts. Rodney is spot on in his reading of the markets. I was looking for a heads up to help me choose which side to use for vertical spreads. Again, that's from FS from Mass, and thank you so much, FS. I appreciate that. Next, we're going to hear from JV from New York. Now, I posed a few questions to my subscribers a few weeks ago, and this is the feedback exactly that JV from New York gave me with respect to the questions. So I produced it just as he wrote it. So the first question, what do you like best about Simple Market Signals? What JV said was, one of the things I like best about Simple Market Signals is that I have an easy-to-use tool at my disposal. I use the green, yellow, and red signals along with the general trend to help me determine how much equity risk exposure I want my investments to have in the market at any one time. I will either increase or decrease my equity exposure based on those metrics. The next question, what is important about Simple Market Signals to you? JV writes, I am a conservative investor. My main goal is to preserve as much capital as possible during market downturns, yellow and red signals, and to optimize my returns during green light conditions. The next question, how has Simple Market Signals helped you? JV writes, SMS helps me to determine whether to stay the course, increase equity exposure, or take defensive positions. For example, I will add additional funds to my equity investments during green conditions and move money to cash during red conditions. And the last question, how have you benefited from Simple Market Signals? JV writes, one of the benefits of SMS is that it has reduced the stress from always looking at and analyzing market conditions and worrying about it on a daily basis. And again, this is from JV from New York. JV, thank you so much for the feedback. I really appreciate that. The signals are delivered to subscribers in our weekly video newsletter. In the weekly video newsletter, you will get weekly updates on our proprietary market mode signal. That's our risk level signal. And of course, you'll also get the updated chart for that signal each week. You will also receive the proprietary market mode risk level signal on all 11 major sectors of the S&P 500. You will also receive a weekly update on our proprietary general trend indicator signal, and of course, the updated chart for that. You will also receive market analysis on over a dozen charts every week covering all major areas of the stock market, including several international charts. So I'm going to cover small, mid, large. We're going to cover both a growth and a value ETF. I mean, guys, this is going to help you understand what's going on across the board. Of course, several charts every week on the S&P 500. We'll cover the Dow. We'll cover the triple Qs. So we're going to cover pretty much everything in there, okay? And so this is going to give you a really solid base every week as to what's going on in the stock market over and above our proprietary information that we're sharing with you. And then depending on what's going on, there will be occasional bonus material, not necessarily every week, but occasional bonus material, and this will be anything additional. Sometimes we look at the WTIC, which is the West Texas Intermediate Crude Oil pricing. We'll look at various charts on that. We'll look at the US dollar. Again, this, from week to week, these things will vary, but these will be important and timely things that I feel that you guys need to know at the time that the information is delivered. Okay, so that'll be the occasional bonus material when applicable. You will also have access to best practice videos for the successful implementation of everything related to simple market signals. So the market mode, the risk signals, you'll have educational videos on that. You'll have educational videos around the general trend indicator to help you, again, fully understand all of these indicators and how to, what are your options, right? How to use them and what are the options that you may want to employ with respect to all of these signals. And you will also have best practice educational videos for tips on successful investing. And this is over and above anything related to simple market signals. And guys, this is going to be extremely valuable to you. And this video library will continue to expand over time. The signals are updated each weekend in our weekly video newsletter. The weekly video newsletter is generally ready by Saturday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time each week. However, depending on our production schedule, the weekly video newsletter could be finished and ready for you to view anytime over the weekend, right? If we can get it out earlier, we will. And if there are any major signal changes in the middle of the week, we're not going to wait until the weekend to get you that information. We will post a new video mid-week with the new updated information. If there are any major signal changes to either the risk signal for the overall market or to the general trend indicator. Now, if a signal changes on one of the sectors, we generally do not post a midweek update on that, all right? We reserve the midweek updates for the major signals, and then each weekend, of course, you will get the updates on the sectors as well as all other information. And you will have easy, convenient access to this information. Everything is on YouTube in the members area of the channel, and everything is in video format. There's no emails to mess with and no websites to log into other than, of course, YouTube. To be fair to myself, I should be charging $97 per month or more for this information. However, you're going to get everything for just $19.99 per month. That's less than 67 cents per day. So just to review the membership details, the video membership to Simple Market Signals through YouTube is $19.99 per month. That's less than 67 cents per day, and it's billed monthly on your credit card, or you can pay with PayPal. There are no contracts. You can cancel anytime, and if you do cancel, your membership will remain active for the balance of that current month, right, for that prepaid period, but you won't be billed for the next month. All memberships are controlled by YouTube, so if you ever have any question about anything, just Google it, and the answers should be out there. So, guys, how much risk do you have here, right? It's less than $20 per month in U.S. currency, so depending on where you're at in the world, it could be slightly higher or lower in your currency, but less than $20 per month U.S., it's billed monthly, right? So you can't pay ahead, right? So it's, monthly billing, right? So at the most, you're out $20 each month. There are no contracts, and you can cancel anytime. So, try it for a couple of months. If you don't like it, cancel, right? But understanding the stock market, guys, is one of the most important things you can learn in order to build wealth over your lifetime. This information isn't available anywhere else, right? Most of this information, or at least a lot of it, is proprietary. This information is not available anywhere else. I am the only person on the planet with this model, and they can deliver these signals. So for a tiny fraction, for a tiny little fraction of what it cost me to learn this information, you can have access to my data. Not having this information on a weekly basis can cost you a lot of money, either in lost opportunity cost or outright lost profits. Invest in yourself. Invest in your financial future. One thing is for sure, if you don't invest in yourself and your level of stock market knowledge, you will suffer the consequences over the long haul. Some of my clients tell me they make tens of thousands of dollars per year from the information they learned from being a client of Simple Market Signals. It's not often you have the opportunity to invest a few $100s per year in yourself and potentially pull out thousands or tens of thousands of dollars per year from that tiny investment. This year, give yourself the gift of financial knowledge that can bring you big rewards over your lifetime. What's the worst case scenario? You invest a few dollars into your self-education and you learn something. Guys, that's going to be the worst case scenario here, right? Invest a few dollars in yourself, try it for a couple of months. If you don't like it, cancel. But it would be very unlikely during the interim, right? Between the time you signed up and the time you canceled, it would be extremely unlikely for you not to learn something, in something that is much more valuable than the few dollars that you would have spent being a client for a few months trying this. Now let's recap what you will get as a member. As a member, you will receive the weekly video newsletter, which includes the weekly update on the proprietary market mode, also known as risk signal, on the overall U.S. stock market. You will also receive the weekly update on the proprietary market mode or risk signals on all 11 major sectors of the S&P 500. You will also receive the weekly update on the proprietary positive negative signal for the general trend indicator. You will also receive weekly market analysis on the overall market, and there's generally 12 plus and sometimes more than 20, right, depending on what the information I need to disseminate, but there's generally at least 12 plus charts every weekend covering all major areas, right? Small, medium, large, growth value, all of that, including several international charts. But all of this is over and above the proprietary risk signals. So the weekly market analysis alone, guys, is worth far more than the $19.99 a month that we're talking about here, okay? Plus, you will receive occasional bonus charts as deemed necessary and appropriate for whatever's going on in the markets, all right? So that's bonus material that I do throw in from time to time, and that can be extremely valuable to you. Plus, you will receive special midweek updates when warranted. So again, if there's something going on in the markets, if there's a signal change in the middle of the week, we will put out a midweek update video so that you can stay current on the information. We'll get that out as fast as necessary, okay? And you'll also receive access to the growing video library of best practice educational videos that are part of your membership, and that will continue to grow over time, all right? Again, you're going to get all of this for just $19.99 per month. That's less than 67 cents per day. So the potential benefits of being a member, and we talked about this early on, but I want to remind you here that the potential benefits, if used properly, of having access to just the signals alone, guys, not counting anything else, would be increased upside capture, decreased downside capture, an improved risk-return profile, and the ability to sidestep major market downturns. And some additional benefits to think about. You'll get increased market knowledge. It would be almost impossible for you to not increase your market knowledge by watching these videos every weekend. And then beyond the proprietary signals, our market analysis will save you time each week, right? So even if you're good at technical analysis and you do your own market analysis, at the very least, right, the fact that we're doing this for you every weekend should save you quite a bit of time from a market analysis standpoint. Plus, this will help you stay in sync with the stock market, guys, and it gives you the potential for a better outcome overall. Plus, it helps reduce investor anxiety, It helps make investing less stressful. It helps make investing less confusing. It'll help you stay focused on what really matters, the stock market itself. And guys, being a member, right, this will help make investing less intimidating. It'll help you understand the big picture. It helps make you a better, smarter, more knowledgeable, more confident investor. You'll be able to have an intelligent market conversation with virtually anybody on the stock market, right? And you're going to be able to hold your own, right, after a while, because you're going to have all of this will just be top of mind. You're going to continue week after week after week. You're going to continue to learn more and more about the stock market, right? And you're going to learn the truth. You're not going to get conspiracy theories or opinions or, worthless forecasts or predictions, right? It's all market-based information, okay? So this will help you become one of the most knowledgeable market participants on the planet. Our market analysis helps reduce the likelihood you will miss something important from a market standpoint. So, again, because we're covering basically all capitalizations of the U.S. stock market, including several areas of the international markets, it would be extremely unlikely for you to have a big gap in your knowledge, right? Because we're looking at small, mid, large growth, value, and then several international areas as well each weekend. So it would be extremely unlikely for you to have a major gap in your knowledge from a market standpoint. This will also help, right? Being a member and looking at these videos every weekend, watching these videos every weekend will help remove human emotion from your trading investing equation. And guys, that is huge, right? The human emotions, man, this can really mess us up. So getting a handle on that and keeping the human emotions suppressed and just looking at the data, looking at the facts, this can make a huge difference, just that one point there, all right? So being a member, this is going to help increase your confidence, it's going to help lower your stress level, and it's going to help decrease your level of uncertainty as to what is happening and what to do about it. And guys, there's more. I could just keep going and going and going, all right? But let's do a major benefit summary here, all right? So having access to this, being a Simple Market Signals subscriber, being a member to this channel will help eliminate guesswork. It helps reduce fear of loss. It helps reduce human emotions and the emotional roller coaster of being an investor. And guys, this affects all of us. I don't care how long you've been in the markets, right? It gets all of us. And this is one of the major reasons why I created this model for myself, is because I wanted something that kept me grounded and gave me the facts and helped me keep my emotions in check. All right. And you will always know what mode with Simple Market Signals and our proprietary market signals, along with the general trend indicator signal, you will always know what mode the market is operating in. This also gives you, right, with access to all this information, this will help give you the potential to lose less in downturns. Now, I can't guarantee this, right, because you still have to do the work. I'm giving you the information. You have to employ the information, the signals, as you see fit for your particular situation, depending on, your personality, the type of accounts you're working in. It at least gives you the potential. This information will give you the potential to lose less and the potential to make more during market advances, all right? And all of this will also help you save time each week because you're not going to have to do so much of your own research. And to become a member of the channel and get access to the Simple Market Signals information, you will need to go to the Rodney E. Constable Stock Market channel. So depending on how you found the video, you may or may not be there, but you need to make sure that you go to the Rodney E. Constable Stock Market channel, and then you're going to click on this join button. Now, if you're not signed into YouTube, you will need to sign into YouTube, okay? So you'll need to sign in. All right, and then once you're signed in, then you'll see this box pop up, right? Get access to exclusive perks when you become a member. So you click on the join button, and you will see the information here, what you're going to get with your subscription, of course, your membership. And then you click on the join button, and you want to add your credit card information. So as you can see here, you can pay with either a credit or debit card. Enter your card number, of course, the month and year of expiration, security code, cardholder name, and your billing zip code. So I'm going to fill all of this information in, and I will be right back. So once you hit that buy button, which is in the lower right-hand corner of that box, that previous box, you will then get this pop-up. Welcome. It's great to have you as a member. So then you can click on the See Perks. So once you fill all that out and your membership is established, then you will have access to the membership area where you will be able to see the perks, right? And then you go over to the community tab, and this is where you will have access to the various videos, and you just click on those and it'll pull those up. Okay, so I'm going to back up here, and so this is where all the training videos will be, as well as the weekly updates to the simple market signals that will be under the community tab. And that's all it takes to become a member. It's quite simple. So guys, the way I see it, I am basically giving you a roadmap to free money in the stock market. Now, it's up to you to use this roadmap to extract this free money from the market. This free money I am speaking of could be in the form of either additional profits that you otherwise would not have gained based on the difference between what you were doing now and what you could do with the additional information you learned through simple market signals, or the free money I am referring to could be in the form of captured profits that you otherwise would have given back to the market in the form of losses. So think about this. Again, this is the way I see it, guys. I see it in my head. I know how valuable this is, right? So I'm giving you a roadmap. You have to employ the information yourself, but I'm giving you a roadmap to potentially free money in the stock market. So join now to start benefiting immediately from this valuable and potentially life-changing information.